Welcome into another edition of Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera, and across from me is head coach Travis Hill. Looking forward to this one. It should be a big game. It's Norman North on the schedule this week. But before we get into that, let's go back to the Edmond Santa Fe game, the homecoming game last week, and just your general thoughts from the win.
Love winning homecoming games. They make homecoming a whole bunch more enjoyable. And hopefully that's part of the big show. But a lot of festivities, a lot of activities going on, and for us to come out and like I said, play so well in a lot of ways the first half. Special teams were good. One mistake there as far as some getting people on and off the field. We had one that made a choice he was going to be on the field. And so good stuff there. So you kind of question that on start. But really played a great first half, 28-0, secured, had things in hand, played well both sides of the football. Doing some really good things. Special teams, obviously with the block punt, to be able to end the quarter in an interception. So scoring in all types and phrases, felt really comfortable. Didn't come out and necessarily play well again the second half. It's our start. You look at it, I don't have that breakdown in front of me, but scores by quarter. The only quarter we're losing is the third quarter, and we're not just losing, we're losing pretty big. So I made the comment, I think, to you guys after the game. I said, Coach Hill obviously not a very good halftime coach. And so we're going to redirect a few things there and hopefully come out and do better. But as a whole, Dylan, a good win, satisfied. Let's move to the next one.
I'm glad you actually bring that up because I do have some numbers in front of me. So third quarter management, your points allowed this season. I don't have your points for, but I have your points allowed this season. First quarter is 7. Second quarter is 10.
Yeah.
Third quarter is 63.
Ain't that amazing?
Fourth quarter is 20. So what's the difference there between the third and the other quarters?
It has to be coaching at halftime. Yeah. It has to be. No, there's something there that we're missing. We're not coming out ready to play, whatever it may be. So we talked about it, addressed that as a staff. We've kind of noticed that trend, obviously, before this game, but it trended even more. So we got some few things that we'll try to do at halftime that will change it up, mix it up, and see if we can't get focused on what we're trying to accomplish the second half.
Did you feel like from the team that there was any complacency being up 28-0 at halftime?
Well, obviously there probably is. We're human beings, so we try to deny that. But psychologically, you're up 28-0. It is what it is. Okay, so I've had all the rah-rah speeches we can. Hey, it's 0-0 at half, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and they're kids, and adults are even worse sometimes. Yeah, whatever. But so there's probably is some complacency. Just realistically there is. But that's our job, and that's their job to make sure that they being the kids, the players, to make sure that doesn't happen. You got to go out, and we've always done that. I'll take games where we have a true blowout going. We come back and play that next half or after the half, that next series or two with our ones because of that educational process of going through a halftime, the downtime, and come back and being prepared to play again. So it's something we need to work on, something we need to do a better job with as a coaching staff. Coach Hill needs to do a better job with, and I think we can change those things. And let's see if we can see some improvement again in another area that, as you fight through the season, that you have ups and downs and you correct a problem and here another problem comes. But the idea is to find a way to get as close to perfect football, execution-wise and everything else, psychological, how you go about it, know how to play, and how to finish games too. And so we'll continue to work on that and continue to get better at it. Yeah.
Well, getting back to the third quarter, you get down to a 28-14 score line after being up 28-0. They get 2 touchdowns in the beginning of the third quarter. And then you end up kick at the end of the third quarter to make it a 31-14 to finish out the quarter. But my question to you is, you had talked about always wanting to be up 3 scores. You get down to where it's only a 2-score deficit for Edmond Santa Fe. In that scenario, what's going through your mind? What are you trying to do to get the team to right the ship?
It's exactly right. So we get down there, as you said, 28-14. And somebody had said the first score was somewhat of a fluke, that on behalf of Santa Fe, because it was the bobbled around ball and all that. I said, well, for us to come out and not produce offensively the first series and then have a poor defensive series before that, right after that, we gave up a 3rd down and 10. Okay, so let's don't point any fingers at anybody else besides ourselves. So those things we just got to get better at. The ship was right there when we had that big drive at the end of the third quarter. We had an opportunity to go ahead. I said, take the points, because again, it puts it back to that 3-possession game. Maybe not the 21 that you really want, but it puts it back to 17. Still puts it somewhat out of reach, because I'm a big believer, as you go into the fourth quarter, if you have that 3 possessions, it is game over with, unless you can't manage clock or just horrible, or horrible things happen to you. So it felt better and felt a little relief. And as you saw, we kind of finished things up with another score there to end the game. And then they came back, and give them credit. They didn't quit fighting and found a way to get in the end zone there late with another score. So
they were a scrappy bunch. They definitely weren't going to just hand it over. They made you work for it.
They played hard. I told you they were 0-5 coming in. This is their last hurrah. Come on now. We all know that from just put yourself in those same shoes. Yeah. From here on out, you're probably just trying to fight through and just be competitive. But if you could win that one, still won, find a way to do that, then maybe you can get back on track. But those days are over with, and we got to move on, and let's do that.
Yeah. My final question to you before we hit the commercial break is probably the most simple question I'll ever ask you on the show.
Let's get it.
Did you work with a wet ball this week at all? Because the rain feels like it came out of nowhere.
It did, didn't it?
We were watching the game go on.
Let me give Daniel Hendrickson a lot of credit because when we saw this coming and potential, because obviously I didn't notice that all week long or anything else.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back to some other amazing things about that too. But Daniel did a great job of preparing us at the last second with tents, this, that, all the ball, information, ball security concepts that we do with the dry rub and the bags and all. So good job, Daniel Hendrickson, Coach Hendrickson. Thank you very much. And I've never seen one just kind of come in. It comes in from the north, but the wind was coming out of the south. But we'll figure that out later. I'm not a weatherman, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, and I was talking about on the broadcast, it was sunny, looked beautiful before the game, and then it was like as soon as the first quarter kicked off, it got darker and darker, and it came out of nowhere. But
it was a nice relief. It was kind of a hot evening, and it was a nice relief. And like I said, maybe we need that the second half.
Yeah, maybe
we'll go from there, Dan. We'll go.
Well, we'll break down the offense here in just a moment. We'll step aside for a quick commercial break and keep things rolling here on Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
It's time to update your kitchen, just for you. Kitchen Tune-Up will make your kitchen look and feel transformed. Let's create a kitchen that inspires and uplifts you. Kitchen Tune-Up. Update, upgrade, uplift.
Looking for some iced caffeine, left you in the cold. No one knows why brown water costs as much as liquid gold. Told him your name was Brian, why does this cup say Nicole? But then you found paradise in your cup at the Quick Trip. No regrets to start your day.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Time to break down the offense with head coach Travis Hill. And it's the Edmond Santa Fe game that we're looking back at. It was a final score with 38 up on the board. You got a defensive touchdown to go along with that as well, though, and then the field goal. So 4 touchdowns and a field goal from the offense. Do you feel like the offense is progressing in the right direction?
Oh, yeah, man. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, everybody, here's what's hard, too, man. You got, like I said, there's some talent over there. There's a lot of bodies that can make a difference. And so, everybody like to have more touches, and, it's just an ongoing process. But I really do feel like what I saw, which is the number one thing I'm looking for, is I watched our offensive line. It's like watching a car wreck, okay? And that's when they're playing hard. They're on the ground after every play. There's movement. They're pushing and shoving and doing what an offensive line does as a unit. They're continuing to grow. They're continuing to make the proper decisions to be a great football team. And I've said before, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Offensive line, though, it's the glue, okay? It's the glue. So they're doing a really good job. So as long as that offensively continues to progress, you continue to see us grow offensively and continue to get better.
Well, while we're talking offensive line, and I'll be transparent here, in the preseason, we had talked about the offensive line, and you had said that there was a lot of issues in the summer that you were trying to work through, and there was a chance that you were going to move things around and change things up. And now it feels like it's a real strength of the team. Do you feel like that's been a progression over time that you've seen?
No doubt about it. And the reason why we said that to summer is because we were here, but the ceiling was way up here. So we wanted to reach that potential. And so, we things have that choice has to be made. Well, you got to coach them. So there has to be a choice to be made, and the choice was made. And man, we're climbing and getting closer and closer, as I just aforementioned, to that ceiling. So, yeah, we moved some things around. Coach Adcock is not the guy to take credit for it, but I really do give him a ton of credit because he's just that, the kids. Coach Adcock's an offensive lineman, Mr. Personality. I'm being a little sarcastic here and everything, but hard-nosed man that demands it, gives attention, but it's in a different way. I mean, and he loves them, and it's really. You say all groups work together. They do, but the offensive line, those 5 really work as one as much as anybody. So proud of them, happy for them, proud they made the right choice, okay, and that they're moving forward because it's going to help all them. As we, like I said, we're not going to get into all life skills. We'll be here for 40 minutes talking about that. But they're just what they're doing. Not only are they growing up as a football player and becoming a team guy and becoming better and making our football team better, becoming better people for the rest of their lives too.
All good to hear. Well, the guy that they've got to protect is Jeremiah Satimba, and he goes 15 for 18, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wasn't his flashiest performance, but he was efficient and played winning football, right?
I think that's what when you mention Jeremiah, I think that's flashy, he can be. He's a great athlete. People don't realize how really good an athlete is. He tests out as well on all of our physical tests as well as anybody. And sometimes he is flashy, but, he just seems to take care of business. Again, 15 for 18. The unflashy point, 119 yards, but he got the ball to the right people at the right time, made the plays that he needed to make. 0 turnovers. That's the key. And if you do that, you're very, very efficient. And that's what his job is like most quarterbacks, manage the game, take it in your hands when you need to, and do that. So again, congratulations to him of managing a great football game and making the plays when they need to be made.
If I'm remembering right, I think all 3 of his misses were on deep balls, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But do you think in order for him to hit those passes, it's just a rhythm thing, and he's got to hit these underneath passes to get it going?
Yeah, my memory it's good. Most people, when they get older like me, their memory goes away. My memory does. I can tell you all 3 deep balls he missed. Okay, and here's the deal: earlier in the year, he was missing them short. These all 3 he missed. He overthrew a little bit. So I think he's finding that happy medium. It's a rhythm. It is, again, it's a connection game between them and practice of the comfort zone. So I do think that those things are going to work itself out. Short to now long. Hopefully at this point in time of the year they drop right in the bucket where we want them, or at least in a position for them to catch it. But those were the three missed passes were just the overthrown footballs on what might have been the wow factor. That might have been, as we said, it was just kind of a, it was a great performance, 15 of 18. But if you hit 2 of those 3, your yardage probably goes up to well over 180 or right at 180. Right. And now all of a sudden it becomes very special. So those are things, like you said, they're still ticking. They're in there, but we're just inches away. Hopefully we continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, well, they had a really solid game, and we named him our JEI difference maker of the game. So Coach Mo Wallace was able to catch up with him.
Thank you, Dylan. We're here with Jeremiah Satimba, difference maker of the game. Jeremiah, what are you most proud of on the team's performance last Friday?
I feel like we did great. We had a great first half. We had a shot in the first half. Third quarter, we really need to make some improvements in the third quarter, but overall we had a great game plan, executed well, and I'm proud of my guys for that came up with the win.
What are you most proud of so far with your success this season?
Definitely perseverance and giving my team an opportunity to win every game that we've played so far.
What do you think the team needs to do moving forward into district and into the playoffs this season?
Definitely we need to work on our second half performances. Every game we've came out, we've been tied or up at half, and then in the third quarter, all of our opponents have outscored us. So we need to work on that and our second half performances.
Well, thank you. There you are, difference maker of the game, Jeremiah Satimba. Now back to you, Dylan.
Thank you, Coach Mo. Back here with Travis Hill, and going to switch things up and talk about the running backs real quick before we take another commercial break. Grayson Betts was rotated in a lot this week, and I was curious if that's something that's going to be a regular thing. He's going to become a regular member of the backfield, or is this going to be something that was just a schematic thing for this week against Edmond Santa Fe?
Yeah, interesting. First of all, in life, we've oftentimes forget everything's earned. So people perceive that their starting running back was this on game one. He's going to be there. He'll be there the rest of the year. That's week by week deal. So Grayson Betts has earned his opportunity to get on the field through JV games, through performances in practice, making our defense look silly at times. So we threw him in there, and it's a great deal. It is a week by week deal to answer that question. Sometimes you got a real good feel as you go into a game who you'll utilize, and sometimes it's through the process of the game. No, it's so nice to have that other back now, that third rotation type guy to mix it up. And when you are, Grayson, I love you to death, 5 foot whatever he is, okay, not very tall, and not be a sophomore, okay, to come in and give you a different look, a different shakeup. I think it was good. He had some success. We knew he would, and so to hang out with Octavian, Roberson, and with our other, I'm struggling with names here,
Sango,
Corey Sango, and to add him in there, it's just another good dimension for us and a security blanket that we have another guy. So if the bad stuff happens with injuries or whatever, we have a guy that can come in and do a great job.
Yeah, long season, so it's good to have that.
Absolutely.
Depth. Yeah. Defense coming up next here on Inside Tiger Football. We're going to break down the Edmond Santa Fe matchup, but then after that, we're going to look forward to the Norman North game. Stick around here on Inside Tiger Football.
Get your taste buds ready, because we're bringing all the drip and none of the drama with our new sauced and tossed Tender Bites. They're juicy, crispy, and sauced like a boss. Bite into your new obsession. Only at Slim Chickens.
Hey Tigers, get the only card that donates to Broken Arrow Public Schools every time you use it. TTCU Federal Credit Union has donated more than $360,000 so far. Support the Tigers with your card today.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera with head coach Travis Hill. And it's time to break down some defense, Coach, and we'll talk about the rushing game first. You held Edmond Santa Fe to 97 rushing yards in this outing. How did you manage to keep them in check?
Just, again, hard work. I've told you at times this year, we've not given up big plays, man, until this week. This is one of the first time we've given up big plays, okay? But we've allowed people to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, just maintain the run, okay, and keep us on our heels. I always say stop the run, the rest will take care of itself. And as you as an offense, as you heard me, run the football. It wins football games. So we were able to do that, just a lot of hard work. I really like the way we're going up front, the way we're taking care of our business with our front seven. And they're just getting better and better by week. And like I said, we even still had the injury bug with Malik still being out. We can solve that here in the next few years. We'll be back. Malik Ross, our Mike linebacker. But I thought our kids played extremely hard, took care of that, and that kept us, like I said, kept them on their heels. And like I said, then we did allow a few big plays, and we haven't done that. So, but offensively, the rushing the football didn't do that. We kept them under the wraps all night long, and if we can say every week in and week out, we're going to have you at 90 yards or less rushing the football, we're going to take that and be successful with it.
Well, and you bring up Malik Ross coming back, and in the meantime, you had slid over Colton Barlow to the Mike linebacker position. How do you feel like he fared being in that change of pace?
Yeah. Well, you know, he did really well. And I'm even more impressed with the way Dagan McCleskey came in and played our Willie linebacker.
Yeah.
Has done a great job the last 2 weeks. Definitely, again, we talked earlier about long season, and that's what you got to sell these kids on. And I know we want it week in and week out. We're human beings. But again, Dagan just came in and did a bang-up job. And with moving Colton in there, he adjusted what we did. We adjusted a little bit to make sure that we did a few things to protect him at a different position too. But he did a wonderful job communication-wise and everything like that. We got 2 wins, so definitely did a good job.
A couple of receivers had good games for Edmond Santa Fe. Nothing too explosive in terms of yardage, but just finding open spaces and able to move the ball downfield. Did you feel like the secondary had their best week this past Friday?
Probably not. But like I said, because that's what we gave up, obviously 3 big plays, okay? And one, I don't like the word fluke's not very good. One was the juggling of the ball.
Yeah.
We almost intercepted it. It bounces in the air, and our kid runs underneath it. It's almost like the end of the game. Throw it up, here we go, and got it. So good job on their behalf. Then we came back, and they beat us on a post route over the top with number 14. I'm horrible with names, but I told you all week long, he's a great football player.
Yep.
He's long, he can run, he does a good job. And then they drove the ball down there late, which we were a little soft with our coverage. Played a few other young men and did a good job as far as completing things and finishing up with another touchdown. So it probably wasn't our best effort secondary-wise, but I also saw so many other good things that we did back there as far as run support, being where we're supposed to most of the time. But like I said, we got a few things there we need to clean up, like you do week by week. But you've also had some special games back there, and we feel like that's definitely one of our strengths.
One guy who had a special play was Gaston Farrell getting the pick six, and we talked about him last week being a difference maker of the game just a little while ago. But a phenomenal talent, and he's really starting to blossom in his position. And I think the pick six was more of just the cherry on top of that.
It is. I'm a big believer. Good things happen to good people. So when you're taking care of your business elsewhere, we're accountable for everything we do in our lives, that they show up at big moments. So right before the half, they want to come out and try to establish a drive and maybe put some points on the board before they go in. It's 21-0 at that point in time. They put one up. Gaston is in great position defensively, whether it was a great throw or not. It's a tough interception just with body language wise, where he had to bend around and get it, and as in their end of the field and able to walk in with a score and secure us a 28-0 halftime lead. So great play by Gaston, well deserved. Been working hard diligently in all factors of being a great football player. So it's good. It's good to see a kid. It's an easier sell, Dylan. Whenever, hey man, see what happens? You get you a touchdown. It's a lot easier sell. So congratulations to him and the efforts he's been putting in.
My final question to you on the defensive side of the ball is just about having to play a mobile quarterback. And you had mentioned that in the previous episode of Inside Tiger Football, that he's a guy that can really get out and move. He's an athlete. How did you try to game plan against that?
It's just real simple. You got all the concepts of what quarterbacks do these, and the RPO for you young fans. Run, pass, option. So every time they run a football, there's a pass option involved in that same thing versus what his eye sees, including an option for him to pull it and run. So it's hard to defend, and so you got to have people stay at home, Dylan. And when you have people stay at home on the backside of the play, that helps take that away. So our kids were disciplined on defense to take away the run game from him, and like I said. We just talked earlier, they had 97 yards rushing, so we did a good job with that, keeping his legs from being a factor. Hardest thing in the world to defend, in my opinion, is a mobile quarterback. You see it at all levels now. The NFL's gone to that. You just go back 10, 15 years, there's a guy that sit in the pocket and throw it deep, okay? Maybe not be able to run out of sight. You're seeing that all across the board now. Athletic guys that bad play call, but all of a sudden turns into a great one because you got a mobile quarterback like us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Defense has a big game coming up against Norman North. They're going to have to play really well, and we're going to break down the matchup against the Timberwolves coming up next here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rip Grip.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Hey Tigers, I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon. The city is preparing for the next general obligation bond election in April of 2026. Just like the improvements to Albany Street in front of the high school, bonds help pay for upgrades to public infrastructure like streets and intersections, public safety services, parks improvements, and more here in our great community. To find out more about the bond process, visit the city website. Thank you for helping us build our future. Broken Arrow, enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football. Kickoff is not too far away now. Dylan Rivera with head coach Travis Hill. and it's Norman North this week, and you go on the road, brand new stadium. That's got to be just a little bit of an energizer as is, but certainly got to go in and you got to play with your hair on fire because this is a team that can really take it to you if you're not careful.
Absolutely. You see them week in, week out, points, lots of points on the board, very explosive offensive football team, and play some pretty good football on both sides. But, man, offensively, you better watch out, Dylan. We talked these 3 possessions. I know me and you before we come on the air here. I don't know if 3 possessions are enough. You better keep your foot on the pedal through the whole process.
Yeah. So how do you game plan against a team that's so high-powered offensively? I know they've got some weapons on the outside. They've got a good running back as well. So what are you doing to prepare for them?
It's just making sure we're sound. Tackling will still be the deal. It's about not giving up the big play. It's about making them earn every bit of it and keeping things in front of you, but being aggressive, keep them in front of you. But tackling will be the number one thing. It's just, like I said, being sound. And it took us a while defensively this week in our staff meetings and everything like that to come up with what we feel like. It will always be evaluated on Friday night, a good game plan. Obviously, you're not changing defenses. You're not doing this. It's just about implementing parts of our packages that we feel like can do us the best on Friday night. So, and then the adjustments that come off of that, that our kids got to be able to do because they're going to look at it and then they're going to change up too in the process of even a play or a series. And so it's a chess game that we look forward to.
Yeah. On the perimeter, Mason James is their stud wide receiver, probably going to be either the top wide receiver you play this year or the number 2 wide receiver that you play this year. I'm assuming you'll have Gillespie take on that challenge, if not Gaston Farrell, and I know both of those 2 guys are going to be ready for it. How do you try to prepare against him?
This is a tough one. So we've had to just say, we can't just say, hey, you get prepared. He won't only just play on the outside, left or right, okay? He also will play some inside slot receivers. They spot him all over the place, okay? So you can't follow him, and that's the reason why they do it. Very similar to some stuff we do with our Samaj Stanford on our offense. You may see him here and there. You may see Mason in the backfield, okay? So they put him in places. Majority of the time it's to get the ball in his hands, but oftentimes he's the guy that you look at and the ball is going elsewhere. So they do a good job with what they do, very, very, very good as far as what they do offensively, schematically, and imaginary. They do a good job. So it's tough. So, no, we don't got no specific matchup. We just need to identify where he's at, though.
No. Defensively, they've had some struggles this season. They gave up 48 to Edmond Memorial. That was an overtime game. Gave up 51 last week to Union, and you had mentioned it in the commercial break saying that was a team that's trending in the right direction at least. But still, those are big numbers to give up on the other side of the football. So do you see this as an opportunity for the Tigers to come out and put up a lot of points?
We need to, and yes, we do. And hopefully, like I said, we oftentimes, this is not the game to beat ourselves. This is the game to keep possession of the football and not give them an extra opportunity. And I think if we can do that, we'll have some success over there. And it'd be a good opportunity and a great timing for our offense to break out.
From your perspective, do you think it's a point where you want to attack them on the ground game, or do you want to pass over the top?
The ground game takes care of the passing game by itself, okay, if you can run the football. So it's definitely attack. That sounds conservative. It's not. Basically, we want to hit them in the mouth so we can throw our body blows with the passes and everything later, because obviously if you get everybody in the box because they're trying to bring everybody in there to stop the run, you're going to get some things over the top. It's going to come pretty easy and pretty naturally. So our agenda is, like I said, run the football like we always will, week in and week out. So it's no secrets, whether that be Union on down the line, Edmond Memorial, it doesn't matter. Hey, Coach Hill's saying it. We need to run the football. If you want to beat us, you better stop us doing that. But if we can be successful in running the football and what we want to do against Norman North, then the passes will come and we'll have people in positions to make big plays there too.
One thing that'll come up sort of between the lines in this ball game, and I had asked you about it with the UConn game, is how the team travels. And I never got to follow back up on that. How do you feel like the team traveled against UConn, and do you feel like it's something that the team does well going into Norman North?
We have. I mean, we've traveled, this will be our 4th travel if I'm keeping up with the stuff correctly. And we're doing a good job with it. And I want to make sure people realize, I don't think they have any idea what goes into that. The efforts to pack everything up and take it to another field and then take the kids, the 70 to 80 that we will suit and take, and the bus and all the things that come, the transportation, all the things that get involved in that. So You say there's not distractions. There is a lot of distractions for the coaches to prep and get ready for that. But for the kids, they maintain that really well. They're where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do. And sometimes, as I said, it lessens their distractions because they are on the road. It's hard to get in trouble on a bus there, Dylan, and not be where you're supposed to be and not be laid down and focus with your teammates. So we've done a good job with it. Hopefully we continue to do that.
We're looking forward to it. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. this coming Friday night at the brand new Norman North Football Stadium. If you can't make the trip out, we'll have the broadcast for you live starting at 6:30 with the pregame show. Coach Hill, thank you for tuning in, or thank you for joining us here.
Absolutely.
And we thank you for tuning in to Inside Tiger Football, brought to you by Rib Crib.